So right, if you want to find the value of sine 5 pi by 6, we just have to replace pi with 180 degrees. So that will become sine 5 into 180 by 6. So 6 1s are 6 30s are sine 30. Sine 5 into 30 is 150 degrees. And since this is beyond 90, we need to remember the concept called all silver teacups. In first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. In second quadrant, sine theta and its reciprocal are positive. And third quadrant, tan theta is positive. And fourth quadrant, cos theta is positive. And if you want to find the value of sine 150, I can write 150 as 90 plus 60 or 180 minus 30. But it is always advised to write 150 as 180 minus 30, as I told you very clearly that every angle should be written as a reference angle with respect to 180 degrees, because there will be no change. If you take reference angles as 90 and 270, then you have to use the concept of complementary. But if you take even multiples of 90 or 180, 360 like that, no need to change the name. So I will write sine 150 as sine 180 minus 30, and 180 minus, if the reference angle is 180, sine will become sine, there will be no change, so it will become sine 30. And 180 minus belongs to which quadrant? 180 minus belongs to second quadrant. In second quadrant, sine is positive, so the value is plus sine 30, and the answer is 1 by 2. And in the same way, sine minus 5 pi by 4 can be written as minus of sine 5 pi by 4. So minus sine 5 into pi, I need to replace with 180 by 4. 4 1s are 4 45s are. So minus of sine into sine of 5 into 45. 5 times 45 is 225. So minus sine of 225 can be written as 180 plus 45. And as I told you very clearly, whenever the reference angles is 180, there will be no change in the name. So that will become minus sine 45. And also we should be aware of this minus symbol. 180 plus theta belongs to third quadrant. In third quadrant, tan is positive, sine is negative. So that will become minus sine 45. And minus of minus sine 45 is plus sine 45, which will become 1 by root 2. Now coming to the third question, I'll do it here. Sine 11 pi by 3. Again, if you want to find the value of sine 11 pi by 3, you need to replace pi with 180. So that will become 11 by 3 into 180. So 3 1s are 360s are. So sine 660. And this is somewhat interesting because the previous problems which we have done is less than 540 or less than 720. But here 660. Now if you got any such type of angles, we know that 0 degrees is same as 360 degrees, because 0 means the angle being at the initial point, and even 360 degrees also means that we are at the initial point itself, because 360 degrees one complete rotation, so we will be at the beginning point itself. So the angle is same at 0, 360 and multiples of 360 like that. So what I'll do is I'll write this 660 as 360 plus 300, right? And this 360 is nothing but 0 degrees. Remember very carefully, in trigonometry, not only in trigonometry, the system where we are measuring angles, 360 degrees means nothing but 0 degrees, because 360 or 0 means one at the same. 0 degrees means at this point. 360 means completing one full rotation and again coming to the same point. So that means 0, 360 and multiples of 360 like 720, 1080, all are one at the same. So instead of making it complex, I will write this 660 as 360 plus 300. And as we know, 360 is nothing but 0. It is valueless. So it will become sine 300. And we know that sine 300 can be written as sine 360 minus 60. So one second. Yeah. So sine 360 minus 60 is nothing but whenever we are taking reference angles as 360 or 180, so sine will not get changed, it will become sine 60, and 360 minus belongs to fourth quadrant, so that will become minus sine 60, so which will give us minus root 3 by 2. Okay, this is fifth question actually. Now, so let me do the seventh question here. Cos minus 4 pi by 3. I told you very clearly, for cos and secant, even though there is minus symbol, that will not affect the value because cos and secant are even functions. So even cos of minus x is same as cos x. So the answer will be cos 4 pi by 3. So cos 4 by 3 into 180. 3 ones are 360s are. So cos 240. Cos 240 can be written as cos 180 plus 60. And whenever we are taking the angle, reference angle is 180, there will be no change in the name. So it will become cos 60. And 180 plus theta belongs to third quadrant. In third quadrant, tan is positive, cos is negative. So that will become minus cos 60. And cos 60 value is minus 1 by 2. Right? Coming to the ninth question. So coming to ninth question. Tan 7 pi by 4. Tan 7 pi by 4. And to find the value of tan 7 pi by 4, again we need to replace pi with 180. So it will become tan 7 by 4 into 180. 4 ones are 445s are. So tan of 7 into 45. 7 4s 280. 7 40s are 280. 7 5 is 35. It will become 315. And 315 can be written as tan 360 minus 45. And we know that whenever the reference angle is 360 or even multiples of 180, there will be no change in the name of tan. So that will become tan 45. But 360 minus belongs to fourth quadrant, where in which cos is positive and tan is negative. So that will become minus tan 45, and the answer is minus 1. And the last question is secant 2 pi. Secant 2 pi. Again, I need to replace pi with 180. So that will become secant 360. And we know that secant is not primary ratio because we got only three primary ratios, which are sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. And secant is reciprocal of cos theta. So let me find the value of cos 360 first. Cos 360, as I told you very clear, that 360 degrees means nothing but same as 0 degrees. So it will be nothing but cos 0. And we know the value of cos 0 is 1. So if cos 360 is 1, then secant 360 will be 1 by cos 360, and even that will also will become 1. And in the same way, we got some more questions here. We just have to do it in the same way. So cos 5 pi by 3, cos 5 by 3 into 180. So 3 ones are 360s are 5 into 60 will become 300. So cos 300. So which will become cos 360 minus 60. So cos 360 minus 60. Whenever we are taking the reference angles as 360, there will be no change in the name. That will become cos 60. And 360 minus theta belongs to fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, cos is positive. I'll put plus symbol here. The answer is plus 1 by 2. So coming to one more question. Cos 3 pi by 4. Cos 3 by 4 into 180. So it will become cos 3 times 45. That will become cos 135. And 135 can be written as cos 90 plus 45 or 180 minus 45. But I'll not go with 90 plus 45 because if I take reference angles as 90, I have to use the concept of complementary. So I'll go with 180 minus 45. So cos 135 can be written as cos 180 minus 45. So whenever the reference angle is 180, there will be no change in the name. That will become cos 45 itself. And if 180 minus theta belongs to second quadrant, in second quadrant sine is positive and cos is negative. So I have to put minus symbol, and the answer is minus 1 by root 2. In the same way, we got some more questions. Cos 5 pi by 2, cos 5 by 2 into 180. So 2 ones are 2 90s are. So cos 5 times 90 is cos 450. So cos 450 can be written as cos 360 plus 90. And 360 is nothing but 0 degrees. So that will become cos 90, and the value of cos 90 is 0. The same way, minus sine 2 pi by 3. So minus of sine 2 by 3 into 180. So 3 ones are 360s are. So minus sine 120. So minus of sine 120 can be written as 180 minus 60. So minus of sine 180 minus theta. Whenever we are taking the reference angles as 180, there will be no change in the name. It will become sine 60. And so 180 minus theta belongs to the second quadrant, and sine is positive there. So minus into plus will become minus sine 60. And the answer is minus root 3 by 2. Tan 11 pi by 6, I think we solved it here. Tan 11 pi by 6. No. Right, okay. Tan 11 into pi. Pi means 180 by 6. 6 ones are 630s are. 11 times 30 is 330. So tan 330. And 330 can be written as tan 360 minus 30. And whenever the reference angles are 180, 360 or any even multiples of 90, there will be no change in the name. So that will become tan 30. But 360 minus belongs to fourth quadrant. In fourth quadrant, cos is positive, tan is negative. So that will become minus tan 30, which is minus 1 by root 3. And coming to 12th question, it is cosecant minus pi by 6. We cannot directly find cosecant theta because it is not a primary ratio. So let me find the value of first sine pi by 6 first. Minus sine pi by 6. Pi by 6 something but 30 degrees because 180 by 6. Pi means 180. 180 by 6 is 30 degrees. So minus sine 30 minus 1 by 2. So the answer is minus 1 by 2. And if minus sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2, what about the cosecant? It will be reciprocal. So that will become minus 2. And we got some more questions here. So cot 8 pi by 3, let me find the value of tan 8 pi by 3 first. So tan 8 by 3 into 180. So 3 ones are 360s are. 8 into 60 is 480. And 480 is much bigger than 360. So I will write 480 as some 360 plus 120. And 360 is a null value because 360 is same as 0. So that will become tan 120. Tan 120 can be written as tan 180 minus 60. And if you are taking the reference angles as 180, there will be no change in the name. So that will become tan 60. So 180 minus belongs to second quadrant. In second quadrant, sine is positive, tan should be negative. The answer is minus root 3. If the value of tan 8 pi by 3 is minus root 3, he is asking to find the value of cot 8 pi by 3. So it will be reciprocal. So therefore cot 480 will be minus 1 by root 3. Okay. So I think remaining 14, 15, 16 questions you can do it on your own. Let me solve the 17th, 18th, 19th and 20. Cot 90. Pi by 2 means 90. Remember, okay. Pi means 180, 180 pi to is 90. So cot 90 we need to find. We know that tan 90 is undefined. So cot 90 will be 1 by undefined, which is nothing but 0. Plus 3 into sine 270.